So here's what we're making today. These delicious cheese crackers. Believe it or not, you can also put olives inside of this batter and bake it up the same way. And it is mighty delicious. Wait till you try these little goodies. Well, howdy folks. Today I wanted to show you a recipe that I like to do usually around holidays and well, just anytime I feel like having this particular recipe. Well, it's got a lot of things in it that aren't necessarily overly healthy, but I don't care. It's the holidays. This is cheese crackers. It's not hard to make. It's really easy. And it's a basic, very, very basic, easy to do recipe. So if you're no good at cooking, this will be an easy one for you to pull off. And it's really good. People love this recipe. When I feed it to anyone, they usually fall in love with it and then they want the recipe. So come over this way. I want to show you how to make it. We've got some butter, flour, cheese. Hey, Rice Krispies? Oh, I can't say that. Crisped rice. And it wasn't the name brand. It was just generic. They work fine. Some hot sauce and some spices. We'll get into all the measurements and everything as we put it together. So come over, take a look, and learn what I do. It's not hard. Come on. All right, we have all of our ingredients here, and I would like to mention right off, if you would, if you like the stuff that I turn out, if you like my recipes and techniques, please subscribe to Texas Cooking Today. It is appreciated. All right, so I've got right here 4 sticks of butter. That's a pound of butter. I have 1 pound of cheese that I have shredded. I spread it around the bowl to help warm it up a little bit and soften it. So anyway, that's a pound of shredded cheese. This is 4 cups of crisped rice. And I have here some hot sauce. Any hot sauce will do. Tabasco, Cholula, Frank's, whatever you like. And then here we have 4 cups of flour. Now I have sifted some stuff into this. I've put in 1 teaspoon of salt. I put in 1 teaspoon of cayenne and a 1/4 teaspoon of MSG. And I sift all of that in there to make it just delicious tasting. And funny thing is, it works. So try that, and it's really nice. Now, when I'm making this, I make these little balls that are usually about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch in diameter. Let me get some gloves here. Alrighty. Do I always cook with gloves? No, I certainly don't. A lot of times I just dive in with my hands on this one. But when I'm recording and stuff, I'm going to be handling the camera and other things, being able to just strip these off makes it a quick cleanup. Now, I want a couple of teaspoons, 1 teaspoon at least, of my hot sauce. If it's a couple, that's okay. So there we got a little hot sauce in there. Not bad, huh? Just reach in, work it together. That's some pretty simple stuff, isn't it? So, as I'm doing this, I want to gently work in the other ingredients. I want to start with the cheese. That hot sauce will usually mix right in with the butter, as you see it doing there. So, that's wonderful. Now, cheese. Pardon the ringing of my bowls. Yeah, I have very musical bowls. I really do. Now my flour. And if you notice, I just put the ingredients in, not all at once, but a little at a time. Work it in, add a little more. So as you can see, this doesn't require any special machinery. Okay, I'm just using my hand as a as a big old spatula. Works well, doesn't it? Now, I do need to mention, all of the ingredients were room temperature. The butter was room temperature, the cheese. This is important. The butter would be hard if it was refrigerated, right? So naturally, you have to have it warm. So about a total of 6 minutes to get that mixed together. Not bad. Next thing, I'm just going to press it out a little bit. And all this does is make it easier to get those crisped rice pieces worked in. There we go. Now, you might be wondering, what does that do for it? It acts in a very unique way, folks. It's like if I were to put butter-flavored nuts into a dough, that's exactly what they're like when it's finished cooking up. They absorb that butter, they cook up, they get about the texture of a pecan, and so it's similar to a butter-flavored nut. Butter. Better butter. All right? That's all we're doing. It's just... Now also, this expands the recipe too. If you think about that. A great deal more volume, all because of the crisped rice. All right, so once I get my dough, let me pull my glove up here. There we go. Once I get my dough just like this, I will pull out a little amount and I'll shape it into a ball. Now, depending on the size of the ball you make, will depend on the number of crackers you get. If I make them this big, which is about 1 inch, I'll get about 90 to 95, okay? If I make them smaller, about 3/4 of an inch, like this, I'll get about 120, okay? It just depends on what you want, okay? Make them your way. So what I'll do is I'll roll up a whole bunch of these. I'm going to put them in this other bowl. And as soon as I have it all rolled up into little balls, we'll get back to making these. Until then, I'm not going to force you to watch this. That would be mighty boring, wouldn't it? Well, now my oven is heating, 350, and it'll beep here in just a minute. I have some of these little balls that I made left over. Most of them I've already pressed flat on these sheets. You want to take the balls and just press them down with the heel of your hand until they're about 1/4 of an inch flat, okay? And these things cook fairly quickly, but they don't brown a lot. They'll mostly brown lightly on the edge. If you get them too dark brown, they'll have a burnt taste. Now, there's the beep. All right, I wanted to show you something. If you want, and this is fun to do, take some of your balls. You got an olive, see there? Put an olive in the middle of that sucker. By the way, that bakes for the same amount of time that any of the regular crackers do. All right. That first ball was a little big because that one was made up of the last of all of my dough, so it was just slightly bigger. Now the balls we don't press flat that are, you know, if they've got olives in them. There we go. Just going to get a few of these out here. They're easier to grab. All I do is just take it, press my thumb into it, put the olive in there, wrap it up, smooth it out into a ball, and there it is. That's not too hard, is it? If you want to do some balls on the sheet and then some crackers, you can do that. These things bake the exact same amount of time. And if you notice what I'm doing to make my crackers, just press it down like that. You don't have to worry about them spreading. They do a little bit, but it is just a minor amount, a small amount. So it's not going to be like you have a whole lot of that happening. All right, 350 degrees in the oven they go. And after I put these in there, I'm going to set some cooling racks up here and put paper towels on them. Okay, these should cook for 12 to 15 minutes. Depending on your altitude, it might be slightly longer. All right, we'll take a look at those when they come out. Okay, my beeper has just done its beeping. I just turned it off and we're ready to bring those out of the oven. It's been a little over 14 minutes now. Okay, we'll go ahead and put these in. There we go. These. Just go ahead and get them right over onto a cooling rack. As you notice, they don't really stick very bad. They don't need any kind of greased and floured cookie sheet or anything. Are you kidding me? There's so much butter in this. That's all there is to making cheese crackers. We'll taste one of those here in just a minute. Now, the real test is the bottom just slightly brown. Just slightly. You don't want this to get too dark brown. If this starts to brown up well, it's going to have a bitter flavor to it. So if yours have a bitter flavor, or if they're a bit too crumbly, you may have overcooked them. They're going to be crumbly. They're going to be very crumbly. But if you overcook a few, you'll know what I mean in the difference. You'll see it right off. Okay, so that's all there is to that. We'll taste those here in just a few minutes and tell you what they're like. Delicious. Alrighty, so these should be ready. Time to swap pans. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Just delicious goodies. And we got a cameo from the puppy down here. This is Ivy. She loves these. Man, look at this. Delicious crackers and a whole bunch of them. And of course those balls on the right filled with their delicious goodies of olives. If you love olives, this is a great way of doing them right here. Well, it's all done. I just finished getting everything out of the oven and getting the last of them out here. Folks, delicious. Oh man, that's a great way of doing olives. If you like olives, you want a neat hors d'oeuvre, that right there. You'll impress people. Folks, try this recipe. You're going to love it. Please click the like button down below. Subscribe also. Don't forget to click the bell. And also, drop me a comment. Just love the comments, and I'll respond to a lot of them. So folks, thank you very much for watching. Please have a good day and enjoy those treats. 'Tis the season, right? Man, those are good.